Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Carol J. Dunlop, the online wild strategist. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And happy end of the month. We're getting ready to go into the third quarter of the year. Awesome. So I wanted to come on because I've been talking a lot about, creating your wild website, customizing your website, and doing analytics on your website, everything. But I felt like that it was just, common sense and time for, since you're getting to know me a little bit better, to know how I work and what my process is. And that's what I'm going to go through with you today and let you know about that. Because it's always, it's always good to know how somebody works and seeing if you can get along with them, if what they do is what you need to be done. And there is a little gnat thing flying around here. So hopefully it's not going to do crazy stuff, but we're going to go on anyway. So I divide a lot of my projects, my courses, everything into three major parts, and that's preparation, production, and premiering. So I call it prep, produce, premiere. And it just helps me to if I'm prepping, I'm getting everything together, like you're going to bake a cake, you got to get all the ingredients together, and then production is actually making the cake, stirring everything in. I have this fabulous chocolate cake that I make and I love it. I've had the recipe for years and years. I've tweaked it and I have it to the perfect consistency. So doing all that right is producing it, and then at the end is premiering it, and that involves, putting it in the pan, making sure the temperature is correct, baking it, and then taking it out, cooling it down, putting the ice on it, all that stuff. So if you can relate to the prep, produce, premiere, we can work together. And I also wanted to do this because I know a lot of y'all are looking at me and thinking, could we work together? Could she be a good web designer for me? Could she design the website that I want? Can she bring my vision to life? So I'm here to answer those questions for you. So let's go through the preparation part. These are the things that I do as soon as I meet with someone and we're talking. So the first thing we do is we meet over Zoom, because rarely do I meet people in person anymore to talk about their website, because I have clients all across the United States, from the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and I'm looking at Canada. Canada is going to be my next client because I've already spoken to this business owner and we are ready to go. So I got just about all of the North Americas. Right now I need some Mexico people. I guess I might have to throw in a little Spanish. So I am studying that. And I meet with them over Zoom. The second thing we do is I let them talk and share what it is that they want. What kind of website do they want? What do they want their website to do? What do they have a vision for how it's going to flow? What's their customer journey? Do they need a store, a membership area? Are they going to sell products? All of that stuff is what I find out. And it's very important because I ask them questions, they give me answers, and then I don't talk a lot. I take a lot of notes about what they're saying, but I do not talk a lot. I let them do all the talking, because I've found in my nearly 30 years of being in business that the more you let someone talk, the more they're going to reveal to you who they are, what they need for you to do. And they're going to reveal to you parts about themselves that they don't even think that they do. So I learned all of that and I take plenty of notes. I want to know their exact vision. What are you thinking that this website is going to look like? And then sometimes they don't even have a vision of what they want it to look like. They just know what they need. And I'm here to provide that as well. Now, if they have a website already and we're doing a web redesign, then of course we're going to look at their website, and then I'm going to ask questions like, why did you pick that color? Why is this page here? Excuse me, why is this page here? Where are your courses? Are you going to sell courses? What I ask them what they don't like about the site, what they love about the site, because this gives me invaluable information when I'm going to go on and design it. So if they don't have a website, it's just going to be more talking about, what they want. And then the assignment that I give them after we both sign the agreement. Sometimes I do it beforehand. It just depends on what their level of, I don't know what I want or I do. I tell them to go out and look at some websites and really take some notes on it. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Look at websites in your genre, not in your genre, because sometimes you can find some great designs and they're not even part of your genre at all. You never thought about, wow, that's great. But they sell cats and I train dogs. Hey, you could find some good stuff. So that is all the prepping part. And it's all about the client talking to me and me listening with these two ears, because you have one mouth and two ears, and you should listen more than you talk. So that's what I do. I try to listen and see I'm trying to see also if we're compatible. Are our personalities compatible? If this person is like 20 hours, a time difference of 20 hours, 18 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever, I want to know that. Am I sleeping when they're awake, and vice versa? I addressed this on a video recently, but you need to ask this stuff. And then I want to know, do they speak English? Obviously, when we get on the Zoom call, I can tell if we speak English, the same English, if we're in the same place or not, or if it's going to be a communication barrier, not only just language, but a communication barrier of, I don't know what the heck I want. I don't know what I want you to do, but I want you to design my website. I can't work with that. I need to know something. I'm not a miracle worker where I can just pull stuff out of your head and then boom, put it on the canvas and it's ready to go. I really need some input from you, because if I don't get input from the client, it's really just all, kind of worthless in the end, because even if I create the bestest, mostest, often awesomest website ever, and the client doesn't like it, we both just wasted our time. So now we're out of the prep area and we're into production. And what signifies us moving from prep to production is the agreement. All my clients sign an agreement. They look over, we actually go over it together, or they go over it. And if they have any questions, they let me know. It's a pretty standard agreement there. It's really, what is it? English speak or common folk speak. It's not like a bunch of attorney words or legal jargon or anything. It's just straight and to the point. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're paying for. This is what I'm going to do. This is what you need to do. Sign on the dotted line, and this is how you're going to pay for it. Because I need to make sure that we are both on the same page, that we're traveling down the same road, and we both know what's happening, what's going on. So then after we sign the agreement in the production part two, production does not start at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion until money is exchanged. And we know whether it's going to be, they're paying for the whole thing, they're paying for it in payments, they're paying for it in parts. Whatever we decide is what we decide. Every client is different. Every situation is different. Most of them are pretty straightforward, but you got to cater to people sometimes, but you can't cater too much, or you wind up cutting, what is it? Cutting your hand off to spite your face, that type of thing. All right. So the next thing is I give them my project intake questions. This is about 20 questions that they need to answer. And it's not questions that are crazy. It's questions about them, questions that help me get to know them better, get to know what their likes are, get to know who their audience is, what their audience what their audience wants from them, and what they are providing as a solution or a service or a product or a course or whatever. It's all about that. And then also I want to see, who do they admire in their genre or in their world, in their industry? So I can go look these people up and see what they're doing. And if I know, I was like, okay, you admire them, you like them, you look up to them, maybe you read their books, you go to their conferences and stuff. I want to know this stuff because this helps me to bring that vision to life. And it's all about bringing the vision to life. Whatever the client has in their head about what they want their website to do, me as a designer, I have to be able to deliver that and make them say, oh my God. And I love that. Oh, because one client actually told me, she was like, "Oh, Carol, beats still my heart. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you nailed it." That was, that was a lot of, and I hear that a lot, but that was a lot of trying to figure out what they want, asking questions, getting their answers, and formulating it into a beautiful, awesome client converting web design. Because it's all about client conversion. Anybody can do a website. Anybody can design a website, throw a website up, put some things online and say, hey, this is your website. But everybody can't capture your vision. You want the person or the agency or whoever, the designer, to capture your vision. You don't care about nobody else. You only care about your vision. And then I asked them to send me 3 to 5 websites that they like, 3 to 5 websites they don't like, and they have to tell me why in each one. And then also in the production piece, we go about seeing, well, what's the domain name? Are you moving it to us? Are you keeping it there? Where are you hosting the site? Are we hosting it? Or are you hosting it somewhere already? Are you happy with your host? Are they doing what they need to do? Because we have the best hosting in the world, I just have to say. And we are in our sites every day. We see what's going on. If one of them goes down, we pretty much know before the person does, so we can take care of things. So we talk about the domain, we talk about hosting, and we talk about maintenance. Those are the 3 main things you need to talk about with someone who's going to design your site. Like, where is your domain living right now, and where will it live once this website is complete? Who's going to host it? And maintenance. Especially when you're talking about WordPress websites, you need to talk about maintenance in the same breath as you do design, because you can't have design and a fully functioning client converting website without maintenance, because WordPress websites need maintenance daily, pretty much. And they're wonderful. They're awesome. I've used WordPress since I want to say like 2005 or so. And all the nuances, I just love it. I still love it, even with, keeping it up to date and the plugins that you gotta keep up to date and watch out for and all that stuff. It's still better than, hands down, it's better than all the other stuff out there. It gives you the flexibility. It's scalable. It's editable by you, because that's another thing that happens. I want to make sure, like, who's going to take care of this, not just the maintenance and the plugins and stuff like that, but if some changes need to be done, who is going to do that? And we do train people after we finish with their website. We meet and we train, and I stay in constant contact with them. So, it's good. All right. So then in with the production, I'm going to create the design and the layout. I've got the vision in my head of what they want. I'm going to create this design and layout with their colors, the fonts, if they have some particular fonts, if they have graphics, videos, all of that. I'm going to use Elementor and WordPress together. That's a great team. And then depending on when everybody gets everything together, when they give me all the pieces, because I really don't start on anything till I get all the pieces together, because I want to make it quick. It could take between 4 to 8 weeks, usually 4 to 6, but 4 to 8. And what causes that drag? Sometimes it is, I'm working on one client's website. Oh my gosh, it was supposed to be simple, ready to go, boom, boom, boom. And then we ran into a stop moment when they needed another service for what they wanted to do. All that we were seeing, all that they were paying for right then wasn't enough. So we had to go out, and I said, this is going to work. We need to do this. And they're like, okay, let's do it. It's supposed to work. It ain't working. It just ain't working. So because they've already paid for that piece, in addition to the website, they've already paid for that piece, which was supposed to work correctly from a well-known provider that I've used for several years. It was not working. So then I had to take some time and I had to let them know, hey, this isn't working, or it's not working correctly, or maybe I'm not working it right. So we had to figure out what was going on and get that straight. So we're just about to get back on track with that. And it happens. That could drag it out a little bit longer. But sometimes when I get people who are like, I got all my stuff together, I remember one client, and she said, Here's all my pictures. Here's my content. She wrote all the stuff herself. She gave it all to me, put it on Google Drive because I like to work on Google Drive. And if you don't know what Google Drive is, if you have a Gmail account, you have access to, I think it's 15 gigs of space on Google Drive. And how you get to it, if you've never heard of it before, next time you go up and look at your email, look in the top right corner, you'll see like 9 little dots. Click on that and it shows you all the services that Google has, including Google Voice, Gmail, YouTube, just all the stuff that they own. And right in with all that, you'll see the word Drive. So click on that and there's an online storage center just for you. There's Google Sheets, which is just like Excel. There's Google Docs, which is just like Word. And there's Google, what did it call it? Google Slides, which is just like PowerPoint. So all those things you have that availability inside Google Drive that you can use to create content, I know people who use Google Slides to do their presentations. Not me. I don't like Google Slides. I like PowerPoint, but there's some people who use it online. And I think now that Canva even does slides. And that's a whole other thing. But just as I mentioned it, I wanted to say it. But the reason that we use Google Drive is because it's one place that both of us, me and the client, can connect with. And in some cases, if we're working on text or something and I'm changing something, they can see my changes and then they can say, oh, I love this. Oh, how about this? And both of us can work on the documents together. That's what I love about it. It's really cool. I don't use Dropbox for that. I use Google Drive. It seems to work really well for me because most people have a Gmail account. And if they don't know how to use it, I will quickly do a video for them and send it to them. All right, so now after we've gotten the layout done, the design, I've been working on it for a few weeks. We've been back and forth. The client and I are looking at it. Yes, it looks good and all of that. Now comes the premiere. We're about ready to set this thing live, to put it out there. And in the premiere part is always open communication. They send me something, I make these changes or whatever, or I ask them, where does this go? What is this? Da, da, da. We just keep talking to each other. Open communication. I remember a long time ago when I used to straighten my hair with the relaxer and all of that, it used to be, oh God, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. But I have what they call a tender head. I'm tender-headed. I don't know if it's tender-headed or I just don't like being burnt in my head with that stuff. So anyway, you are always trying to look for someone who wasn't going to burn you, who would really pay attention to your hair. So you're not under there with all that stuff on your head and all of a sudden your hair starts flaming, which usually mine just didn't have the red flames, but it was burning like crap. It would always do that. And most Black women will tell you that the relaxer burns at some point. I haven't run into anybody who says, no, it's fine. Nothing bothers me. That thing used to kill me. I don't know about anybody else. But then I found this one stylist, and she endeared me to her and she was my stylist for like 7 or 8 years. She said, we're going to have constant, open, easy communication through this whole thing. And that set me at ease. Like, oh, okay. So that means that when I start burning or I start feeling something, I'm going to let you know. And that is really what happened. I would say, hey, I'm feeling it. She'd be like, okay, let me see what's going on. Okay, let's get up. Let's go to the bowl. So that's the thing that you have to have with your designer is constant, open, easy communication. If they don't understand you or you don't understand them, you don't know what they're saying, they don't know what you're talking about, you're going to have a mess. It's not going to work. So to premiere this website, you got to have open communication. And then also in the premiere is security, performance, and functionality. So security is making sure that no hackers, spammers, people with ill intent can get in the website. They're going to be coming to the website. They're going to be doing this brute force attacks on your website to try to get in there. So my thing is to make sure they can't get in by putting in the right plugins, the right security features, having the admin, if they have other people who are getting into the site besides themselves, make sure they're not using that word admin. You can't have a WordPress website and you're using admin as your administrative logon, because spammers and hackers, hardly anybody does it anymore, even when you're getting it automatically set up, because spammers and hackers look for that admin, and they have these computer programs, these bots and stuff that are just banging on the door of your website trying to get in. They're using hundreds of thousands of password combinations to try to get into your website, whether you know it or not. Your WordPress website, I'm sure it does it on Squarespace and all that too, but especially WordPress. So if you let your guard down for a little bit, you let those plugins go and you don't update them, you don't update your core, you don't do maintenance on your site, you will get hacked. I'm just going to say, and you could get hacked even when you're doing all that. But the good thing is, if you're doing regular maintenance and you have backups, you can easily like put your site back up really quick. So functionality is very important. I want to make sure that the site, because I'm testing it, I want to make sure that the site, when I put that URL in, the site is coming up. It's coming up with the right stuff in the right place, on the right pages. The blog is where it's supposed to be. There's contact stuff. And then my client is also looking at it and making sure that things are working as well. And believe me, they will let me know if something's not working correctly. Another thing that we do is connect the mail list and opt in. So if you're having a website, if you're creating a website for your company, for your organization, for your business, you need to have an opt-in, lead magnet, ethical bribe, what is some freebie, whatever it is, some freebie that people can come to your site and get in exchange for their email and their name, their email address and their name. That is an opt-in. It means that they're opting in, saying yes to being on your list so that you can nurture them, send them other emails, and then get them as a client, right? So you got to have an opt-in. If you just have a website that's just up there saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is my site, these are my services, and all the other stuff we put on there, and you don't have an opt-in, you're wasting your time, because most people aren't going to come back to your website to find you, or to, like, they may say, oh, this is awesome, I need to come back to her because I just saw this product or whatever. They ain't coming back. They don't even know. But if they like it enough where they opt in, meaning they put in their email address and their name and they hit submit, and then they get that freebie that you're giving to them, it doesn't matter whether they come back to the website or not, because you are going to email them once a week and say how awesome they are, tell them all about your products and services, how awesome you are, what you're doing, right? And so you got to have that. So I make sure that that's one of the things. And then before we go live, I get the okay from the client. They got to go through all those pages. And most of my clients are, they either, this is their first website or they're redesigning their website. Now, if this is their first website, they're not going to make a big website. If they're redesigning, they may add a little bit. But most people who are solopreneurs, smaller, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, other than a big company with brick and mortar and stuff, they're not going to want a huge website with all these pages and stuff. Like maybe you think Blue Cross Blue Shield or Kroger or something like that. You just need a nice size website that has the pages that you need so that people can look at it and then come hire you. And the pages that you need are your home page, because that tells everything about you, what's going on. You need a testimonial page, because nobody wants to deal with you just off the cuff. They don't know you. They're not going to buy from you. They want to see that other people have already made the leap first and they're happy with whatever they purchased or used from you. And you want to have your services, because you got these testimonials. Where are your services, right? You want to have a contact page that shows how to get in contact with you so that they know where you are and stuff. And then what's the other? Oh, a blog. A blog. You can't do anything without a blog, because this is your invitation to Google. Like, hey, I'm here, Google. Send traffic to me because I am the authority in fill in the blank. So if you do that, those are the 5 pages that you really need. Oh, and your about page. I almost forgot your about page. Your about page does tell people about you, how you got to be where you are, how you had this epiphany in the middle of the night and now you're doing this. It is not And one thing I want to caution you about on your about page, don't need to tell people about every single certification course and stuff you went through. They really don't care about that stuff. They just want to know that you can do what you say you can do, and you're going to get the right results for them. So your about page needs to be about that. How are you going to help them achieve the goals that they want? And then finally, it's done, it's live, and the website is sailing on, bringing in clients. But then, of course, comes the maintenance and the upkeep, because your website is never truly done. I mean, we change our website every 3 to 5 years. We change the whole complete design and everything. But every single day, or at the least every other day, we are looking at our website to make sure it's still functioning, it's still up, there's no malware, there's no nothing. And we do that same thing with our clients. And if you're not doing that, you are you're at risk for losing your website, because it's going to get hacked or something's going to happen. So that is it. To prep, produce, and premiere. Prepping is getting everything ready. Make sure you have your branding colors, you have your content, you have whatever text, you have your graphics. When you're producing, even if you don't hire me, even if you don't hire me, you need to stay in constant contact with your designer. If your designer is not staying in contact with you, you need to follow up with them and see what the heck is going on, especially if you've already paid them money. Now, if you got somebody on Fiverr, they're charging $150, $200. I mean, it's still money. You still want to check on them and stuff, but just know when you use these services like Fiverr, Upwork, and things like that, you're going to get what you pay for. Now, even though the people could probably do an immaculate website for like $500, they ain't going to do it because they want more money. I'm just going to tell you. So what you get for $500 is not necessarily what you think you're going to get. Like, I got this bargain deal of a website. You know how bargains are. They're not always a bargain. And there's usually a big cost somewhere. And so that is my process of how I design websites, how I get to know the clients, and all of that. So if you are someone who is ready to get your website done and you're like, hey, Carol, I think you would be a good candidate, at least we could just meet and talk, then this is what I want you to do. I want you to sign up for an online wow assessment where we'll look at your website or what you want your website to have, look at social media and all that, and see how you can not only get your website done, but get people to come to your website, which is what we all want, right? All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining in, and join me again next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, for our WOW website training. Thanks so much. Have a good one.